Let's pretend for a moment that this is you and you're about to embark on a journey to growing a YouTube channel. Because from my thousands of hours analyzing and reviewing real YouTube channels, as well as my more recent hundreds of hours working one-on-one directly with creators with access to analytics and seeing the growth over time of those channels, I have seen some patterns that I'm about to share with you. Howdy everyone, Nate here. This is how to win on YouTube this year. First thing you're going to want to do is pick something that you're going to share with the world. And if you're watching this, I'm hoping it fits at least one of these three things. Something you care about, something you want to get better at, or something to make money for yourself or for your business. Or in the best case scenario, it's a combination of all three of those things. Because the first thing we're going to do when you have that is we're going to decide how you're going to position yourself and your channel. Now, this is less obvious than you might think, because the first thing you want to decide is whether you're leading with long form or standard YouTube videos or YouTube shorts. Yes, I am suggesting that you pick one or the other to lead out with on your channel and that you not do both. Now, this comes especially from my recent hundreds of hours working directly with creators like yourself and seeing the back end of the analytics on each of the channels. What I'm seeing is 9 times out of 10, trying to do a combination of both formats of content leads to either one or both being subpar in their quality. You see, it seems like these two formats are so different that it requires significant amount of experience and or practice to get good at one or the other. And so trying to do both at once isn't an effective use of your time. So I'm going to strongly recommend at this point that you make your choice, because it is worth it to focus on getting the quality in place with one or the other before you attempt to add the other type. Because next, what we're going to do is decide where you are positioned within your content. Now listen closely here, because this isn't immediately obvious to most YouTube creators. You, as the channel host or the person that is delivering the content in your videos, fit into one of these 4 labels: hero, performer, teacher, or commentator. If you're the hero, you're taking people along for an experience, but the audience is primarily there to watch you have that experience, not necessarily for them to have that experience. Let me show you some examples of hero channels. The channel Maya Lee, which has 504,000 subscribers as of recording this, is what I would call a hero channel. Because if you look at this video, what is it called? Minimalist Pack with Me. 1 week with 1 luggage in Japan again. And if we play some of the video, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay, let's get packing. I am going to Japan for 1 week. Yes, I am going back to Japan. Today I thought I would share with you how I'm going to pack as minimally as I possibly can, but I still want to look cute, and it's a lot colder there than—
Is this video positioned to teach you as an audience member exactly how to pack for a trip to Japan? No, it is not. Rather, it's positioned as Maya is going to have an experience and you're going to come along for the journey. Here's another hero channel. As of recording, 2.58 million subscribers. This is Wintergarten. In case you're confused, this channel was built up on this journey of building marble machines and testing a variety of different things. So each video is not just a finished product marble machine. No, each video is actually the journey of testing each of the pieces of the marble machine while the machine is being built. And that is why I consider this channel also to be a hero channel, because the host of the channel is positioning himself and the marble machine as the heroes of the journey. Is this blowing your mind so far? I sure hope it is, because I have never seen it described exactly like this, because after watching this video, you're going to be watching YouTube and you're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, this is a hero channel. Oh my goodness, that was a performer channel. You're gonna get this. Now, one more important note on this hero positioning. You can be positioned as either the Superman or the Clark Kent, with Clark Kent being the normal person behind the scenes and Superman being the person that's really good at whatever you're showing in your videos. You can have either one of those as a hero channel, but just know that in most cases on YouTube, people prefer the Clark Kent. Okay, so now we have the performer positioning, where you position yourself as the performer for the audience. Performer channels typically focus on entertaining an audience, and they do it by creating something new that's either really funny, super entertaining, or done in a new or outlandish way. You want some examples? Well, let me show you. The channel Let's Game It Out is a gaming channel, which as a recording has over 5 million subscribers, but let me show you what they do in their videos.
Hey there, it's Josh. Welcome back to Let's Game It Out. We're playing Sunken Land today. Pretty self-explanatory if you look at this title screen. Old civilization is gone, and we're stuck to make our own structures that all look like our first creations we made in The Sims, which is to say functional and hideous. I think I know what happened here. Society probably collapse.
Now, why is this a performer channel as opposed to one of these other channel positions? What Josh typically does in his videos is take a video game and figure out all the ways that you can play it wrong and or break the game. This isn't a let's play channel, which might fit more into the commentator or the hero space. No, each of these videos is designed to create something new off of a game that already exists. And that something new is breaking the game in humorous ways. This is the channel Mama, which has over 600,000 subscribers. So let me play some of the video.
Pero está rico, está muy rico. Felicidades, Jamaica. Tienes muy buena comida, muy buena comida.
Have you ever tried Jamaican food?
No, nunca he probado la comida de Jamaica.
This video is them tasting these foods to see if they like it or if they don't. Now, this channel I put in the performer category because what they're doing is they're taking something that a lot of people know about, meaning Jamaican food or Mexican food, and they're turning it into something new, which could arguably be put into the commentator position. So this one can bridge the gap between performer and commentator. All right, the next position we have is the teacher positioning. If you're positioned as a teacher within your content, you're typically providing education or new skill sets that the audience wants to acquire. And if you want an example of a primarily teacher positioned channel, well, you're watching one right now. And then the fourth position you can be in is the commentator position, where you as a host of the content are shedding light on things that already existed in the world. You see, the primary difference between commentator and performer is performers tend to create something entirely new, or at least mostly new, while commentators create a new piece of content, yes, but they're usually piggybacking on something that already exists in the world primarily. You want an example? Well, try this one on for size. The channel Drew Gooden, which has over 4 million subscribers, does a lot of this type of content. Let me play you some.
Oh, he's bored. No, I think he's trying to get the hell out of there.
This cat toy will let your cat entertain itself and requires no interaction from you.
Thank God, I hate interacting with the animal I'm supposed to take care of. If I could just hand her an...
So yes, a lot of reaction style of channels would fit under the commentator positioning, but also channels that are primarily about discussion or podcasts. So what you're doing during the position step of your journey is you're deciding both this section and the primary position that you are going to take. Now, it's important to note that you as the host of your channel or any channel on YouTube will have different mixes of these different positions for whoever is presenting the content. But what you're deciding here is which is your primary positioning for you. All right, now on our journey, it's not time to move on to this one yet. It's time to move here, which is what I'm calling the rule of 10, which is core to your business because this has to do with your publishing routine. Essentially, the rule of 10 is how you as a YouTube creator get better at your craft, how you get better at positioning your content for an audience, how you get better at all of the rest of this journey is with this rule of 10. So if you don't have a way to consistently get better and higher quality with your content, do this. First, pick 10 video ideas, then work on and publish those video ideas, focusing on one of these journey elements. Then as you publish, learn from each of them, take some notes so that you can adapt from them and repeat the cycle. Because once you've done that, then you can establish a routine with the goal each time of producing either videos you're proud of or videos that accomplish your specific goals. If you're a business, for example, and your goal is to warm up leads and convert them to your product that you're offering, not every video that you publish on your cycle will have the primary goal of spreading or going viral. In fact, sometimes videos that you publish during the cycle will underperform in terms of YouTube performance, but they might convert really well to your lead gen or to your product, which is why I put this as part of your routine. I want every video that you produce and publish during this rule of 10 and this cycle here to either be videos that you're proud of or videos that accomplish your goals, and ideally both. All right, here is where things get exciting because here is where we get to the 5 things that every YouTube creator has to realize along their journey. You ready? Well, let's do this. Realization number 1. You are going to realize that if you pick ideas for content that have attention built in, growing is much easier. I hope you get what I just said, because that is one of the biggest secrets that all of the channels that are growing exponentially know. All of the successful YouTube channels realize that one thing. So what you need to do here is train yourself to identify good, great, and unforgettable YouTube video ideas. Now, you're not always able to produce every video that's an unforgettable video, but as you get better and you practice, you will start to understand what it looks like. Now, how do you train yourself on that? I created a method that I call the SEAS method, S-E-A-S. Now, I created an entire other video all about this method that you can watch after this, but the high level is you want videos that spread, you're excited about, are an audience match, and are simple. So what you do is you rate your video idea between 1 to 5 on each of these 4 factors, and the videos that have the highest score, the combination of the score 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, and 1 to 5, those are the videos that you should be producing most often on your channel. Another method that I highly recommend to train yourself to identify good, great, or unforgettable video ideas is actually vidIQ. And no, I'm not going to go on a big old spiel or talk extensively about vidIQ here. I just had to mention here that recently they've been rolling out AI coach features that are customized based on your channel and the content that you've already published on your channel, the actual data from your channel, so that then you can ask this AI coach for ideas for your specific channel. It's awesome. I'll put a link for it in the description and the pinned comment, because really, with every idea that you pick to produce on your channel, you want it to fit into at least one of these categories. 1, an idea that demands attention. It's something that's so different and interesting that people cannot ignore it. 2, it's an idea that's tried and true in your space. If there are other channels with your same niche and that video type seems to perform really well with those other channels, it's a tried and true one. Or if you've done a similar video on your own channel in the past, then it fits under this category. 3, if this video idea is worth the results that you want to get out of it, even if it's not going to spread very much. And this actually harkens back to what I just spoke about here. With the accomplishing goals, your goal isn't always to have a viral video and the video that spreads the most possible on the YouTube platform. Sometimes you produce a video that's just worth the results, even if it doesn't spread as much. And number 4, I needed to put this in here because far too many YouTube creators, and I'm looking at you, it's possible you watching this fit into this category. Far too many YouTube creators are producing content because they feel like they should. They're not producing content that makes them come alive. So if you want the secret to hack the system for good video ideas, always produce videos that fit at least one of these categories. Which, by the way, that'll be $1,000 for that secret I just shared with you. I'm joking, of course, but this should not be overlooked. Do it on your channel. And also, if this is blowing your mind, I would love if you would boop the like button on this video so it can spread to more people that need to hear what I just shared. All right, onward with our journey. We're on to the next realization. You're going to realize that your content needs to be found, but the best way to do that is by making content that your audience already wants. And then you're positioning that content so that your audience knows it when they see it. How do you do that? Well, with the packaging, the title, the thumbnail, and the first 15 seconds of your video. Because you realize that if you do that right, your audience already wants it, and they're just going to find it then. I just had a client's channel hit a big spike in growth because of this very thing. So what you need to do here is first, train yourself to speak your audience language. What words and images are they using to think about what they want? Because next, what you're going to do is become a student of packaging your content so your audience wants it. And I would do that by practicing in 3 different ways. 1, finding tools that are really helpful for this. I got to put another plug for vidIQ here. Within vidIQ, there's a tool that if you input a title, you can actually generate ideas that give you different variations of that original title you were considering doing. It's great for training yourself to use active language as well as see variations on what might work. Second, if you're not excited about that title or that thumbnail, rework it. Third, if you can't describe particularly the thumbnail in a single succinct sentence, say that 10 times fast. If you can't describe it in a single sentence and it sounds interesting, work that thumbnail again until an audience member without 0 context of what that video is about could see it and be interested in it. Because the next thing I want you to do is test. Test it like crazy, because as you test it, you're going to get results. And I added an asterisk here because I wanted to add this note here. You need to be relentless. Don't stop trying things until it starts to land. Which, by the way, that's actually partially why I decided to do a paper airplane looking thing for this realization. And how do you know when you're landing? When your views on a video are higher by at least a little bit. Anything that is higher than normal on your channel should be paid attention to, because what it's doing is literally teaching you how to get attention. All right, it's time to move on in our journey to realization number 3. You are going to realize that you need to deliver on everything you've done up to this point in a standout way. And the other thing you're going to do here is train yourself to only keep the most interesting moments within your final product. And we got to follow the asterisk here to see. Never settle. I want you to keep pushing yourself beyond generic with every piece of content you produce. And that brings us to the next principle here, the concept of editing versus presence. I've never heard this described this way on YouTube before, because how I found it to be is there are 2 primary contenders for making your content within the video itself more interesting delivery. You can either improve your editing and the scenes used in your videos, or you can improve your presence. Now, I intentionally didn't call this camera presence. I just say presence. Because even if you're not showing your face in your videos, if you are the common denominator, the person that's producing and delivering that content, it's presence, your presence in your content. All right, on this side, improving your editing makes up for a lot of lack of depth within the content and often replaces that lack of depth with more consumability, making your content easier to consume for a larger audience, which is the other big advantage of improving your editing, which is your content tends to be broader appeal. It's easier to be understood by more people. Now, on this side, if you improve your video presence, it makes up for a lack of editing. It also allows you as the common denominator within your content to demand more attention, which also tends to lead to having a more dedicated audience, people who like to watch whatever you're publishing because they like your presence. Improving your presence makes your content less generic, where editing doesn't necessarily do that. Now, if you only focus on improving your presence, those videos can have a bit lower spread just because it's so reliant on you as the common denominator. That's not the end of the world, however, because many creators can focus on both of these things at once. Now, I do want to add the note here because I want you to understand that you don't have to be massively good at both of these to be successful on YouTube. Now, most people have seen or are aware of the channel Mr. Beast because partially it's become notorious on cutting out absolutely every possible dead space and focusing primarily on this side of the spectrum. The intro for a recent video he published looks like this as an example.
I'm about to work this $10 million job as a professional athlete, and I'm gonna show you the difference between this and getting paid $200,000 to be an astronaut.
This is insane.
Now, I'm sure if we were to sit down and count the amount of edits and scene changes and manipulations made to the footage in just the first 15 seconds of the video, it would be extensive. Now, contrast that with these. The channel Rick Beato, this is a recent video, and it has almost 500,000 views on it.
So I wanted to make this video a few days ago. I went to see Shakti play last week. Now, Shakti is John McLaughlin's group with Zakir Hussain, who've been making records really since the 70s. I knew this was going to be a great show. An old friend of mine, Kenny, came to town. I was really excited to see.
And how many edits were in the first 15 seconds of that one? Almost none. The point of decision for you watching this here is that both of these sides are effective and both can be successful. So if you're at the point where this is the first time you're hearing about both of these sides, or you're not sure which one to choose, just pick one and get really good at it first. All right, we're moving on in our journey here to this next realization. The realization here is that building more income means that you can do more of what you love, or it means that you can serve more people. That's how I put this. And the crazy thing here is that perhaps one of the biggest barriers that smaller YouTube creators have is that if they're not making more money, that means they can't dedicate more time to the craft. And most creators will hit a cap on their growth until they're able to start delegating more of what they're doing. Which is why at this point, if you're approaching YouTube as a business, just know that either in the near future or in the longer term future, you will probably be delegating some of the tasks associated with building your YouTube channel. You don't have to, but in most cases, with most content types, to get past that growth cap, it usually means dedicating additional resources to hiring or making better videos. So if making more income means you're better able to do more or serve your audience more, how are you going to go about doing that along this journey of building a winning YouTube channel? I like to think of it as first, building an audience. What you're doing on YouTube is you're building an audience of people that appreciate or value the content you're creating, whatever it may be. Based on everything we've discussed thus far, your audience will appreciate those things. So what do you do for your audience? You serve them. And there are 3 ways to serve your audience I wanted to talk about here. 1, if you offer your own products, services, experience, etc. 2, if you're offering or sharing other people's things, like if you're an affiliate for other YouTube creators or companies and you're sharing what they're doing with your audience. Or 3, free or other resources that you can make possible for your audience based on your area of expertise. So with this channel you're watching right now, I've offered consults, and every time I've offered them, they've booked out extremely quickly. As of recording this, I am completely booked, which I just feel incredibly grateful for. But I knew there was probably additional ways that I could serve my audience, you watching this, with this video or with this channel as a whole. And so no, I am not selling you anything with this video. Rather, I've opted for these other 2 options here. You see, what I've done here is over the years of working with YouTube creators and channels like your own, I found some resources that have been very helpful along the way. And most, if not all of them, are either free or extremely cost effective. So what I'm going to do is list those resources both in the description and the pinned comment on this video if you want to check out any of them. Because what I'll be doing is some of them will be affiliate links, which fits under this other things category. If you sign up or use something using one of those affiliate links, then that supports this channel and allows me to keep producing this type of content. But also it's a way for me to say, look, I've tested a bunch of stuff. These are the things that I recommend based on everything that I've found. And thank you for doing so. I also added another asterisk to this page to remind myself to invite people to boop the like button if they hadn't already, but since you already did on this video, don't worry about it. All right, and we're moving on in our journey to this final realization. And that is, sooner or later, you're going to realize that you could be completely blindsided either by the success or the lack thereof on your channel, which is why I called this step vision and put an eyeball on it, because this has to do with the awareness that you gain and the capability of understanding what's happening on your channel. You see, really, your channel might explode or a video might explode and you might not realize why, and you might not be able to replicate it. Or as is far more often, your channel might tank or just be stagnant and you might not get that also. Or, and this is where we get to the real talk here, because it needs to be included in this journey. Not enough people talk about this, and it's also a big part of my own personal journey here. You might be blindsided by health concerns or mental health concerns, or life might come up for you. So here's what you need at this point on your journey. These 3 things: a support group outside of YouTube. I put this in all caps because far too few people think about this. What I want you to have here is a support group that's outside of your channel or your business. It can be very easy to get caught in the here and the now and just everything about creating content. And it's my opinion that it is a lack of this outside support group that causes most of the issues with YouTube creators. Yes, you heard that right. So all of those videos about how YouTubers went off the deep end or did really stupid things, I think most of the time it's because they didn't have this. And I don't want that to be you. I have people in my audience from 0 subscribers to millions of subscribers, and every single one of them need this first thing. So once you have this first thing, then you need a support group inside YouTube. But the important caveat here is that these should not just be your audience. These should be fellow creators. These should be peers, because this is one of the biggest ways to train your vision, your ability to spot blind spots. And then the third group you need is outside perspective or outside views on what you're doing. These could be experts like myself or other outside, more qualified audience members that could give you some real feedback on what's working and what's not. Which, by the way, if you are in a position where you could use additional help from me, then I'm going to put a link to this in the pinned comment, but you can join a wait list so that you know when new spots to work with me directly do open up. Because at this point, with your journey of growing on your channel, you're actually going to go back up to either here or here, and you're going to work your way through these things again. Or you're just going to transcend all of those things and go right over to the radical here. I just had to put my cool logo here in the corner. Check out the description or the pinned comment for that list of resources that I have gathered, because my hope here is you, yes, you watching this are going to have, let me move our little person here. You're going to have a radical year.